All right, this is our pick of the week for week 30, 2025, and this week it's all about crypto. Now, we have some other key events. Be sure to check out the newsletter to get into those key markets and those key events, but for this week, we really are looking at the crypto spheres maybe being a big-time mover and a shaker. Now, the reason why is last week, we saw President Trump sign into law what's something called the Genius Act, and what the Genius Act does is it really reestablishes stablecoins as being stable, meaning we have a new regulatory framework that's going to govern the stablecoin market, and that's going to enable banks and other institutions to dive into this and start issuing their own stablecoins and potentially investing and stockpiling these assets. It's a big deal because it does stress institutional adoption. When it comes to crypto, there's two market drivers. Number one, there's regulation or deregulation. Number two, there's institutional adoption. And when the institutionals are taking crypto mainstream, typically that means bullish price action for most coins. So let's take a look at three coins right now. We're going to look at, of course, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then also Dogecoin. The first one that I would like to look at is Bitcoin. Now, we sort of issued a pretty stiff market call on a lot of live streams and some of our written analytics, and I was calling for 125,000 to the top side for Bitcoin, and we pretty much chested that area 123. Since then, we've had a bit of a pullback, and now we're in an interesting sort of an area. We're down a little bit on the week after sort of a flat Monday, but we do have an opportunity maybe to buy pullbacks somewhere right around that 113.5 area, maybe that 114 area. Could be a pretty good pullback right from 38%. It's a bullish bias. We haven't quite reached our top side target yet of 125, so I think that buying pullbacks probably a pretty good thing to do, especially with that much uncertainty around the Fed as well. Remember, Jay Powell is sort of the big story for this week. If in fact Jay Powell does step down, then the odds of rate cuts sooner rather than later become a lot greater than they are now, and if in fact that is the case, your risk assets and your crypto are going to rise. So remember, a devalued dollar, rate cuts devalue dollars. What happens? Stock prices go up, crypto prices go up, things of that nature. So we're watching Jay Powell closely. We've already got the Genius Act signed. Those are two potential bullish market drivers for Bitcoin. I love the idea of maybe getting in on a retracement. And if in fact you wanted to be a little bit more conservative, you could be looking at 62% down there at 107. And we could definitely get a washout of 110. I just don't think it's likely. I think you're looking at probably 113.5-ish, maybe being an area where you may be able to get long. And if that does come our way, boy, that would be a pretty darn good trade. As far as what else we're looking at here, Ethereum. Now, this is a good look at our 920. This is our coded 920 framework. 9 EMA crosses over the 20 EMA, and then we have a chance to buy it. Well, you can see right here in Ethereum, the Ethereum USD, we had a buy signal that came our way back on the 3rd of July, and since then it's just been on a freight train north. That buy signal was right around 25.87, and now we're printing about 37.76. So for me, it's relatively straightforward. I think that big round numbers are the key in trending markets. I would be looking at 4,000 at the top side here for Ethereum, at least in the short term, and then potentially maybe something like a 5,000 here coming our way a little bit later this summer. So how would we trade it right now? It would be very similar to what we're looking to do there in Bitcoin. I would be looking to get in on a retracement. We've got a real nice daily chart here. You can see our 920, the area between the 9 EMA and the 20 EMA. It's growing bigger. What does that mean? It means that the bullish trend is definitely stronger. I love converging indicators, an opportunity potentially to get long right on that 9 EMA, converging with that 38% on the daily time frame, somewhere right around 3,500, maybe 3,550. If we get a little bit of a pullback, maybe a $200 pullback here in Ethereum, which we can get. We've seen these things pull back relatively quickly. If you do in fact get that chance, boy, buying that pullback is probably the way to go trading crypto right now, given our market drivers. The last one we're going to look at is Dogecoin. Now, Dogecoin is a little bit more complicated, and the reason why is we won't say manipulation, but the volumes facing Dogecoin, you see when it came in the market, absolutely tremendous amount of volumes, and then they sort of dried up right in here, sort of the mid-life cycle of Dogecoin, and then we saw another big spike in volumes and things last fall. So what can we be thinking about Dogecoin? Well, its relationship to Elon Musk, of course, makes it a little bit more sensitive to political issues, but I think you could fall back on the technicals and just take a good look at Dogecoin. Right now, we're on a big month. I'm about a 64% month, which is absolutely huge for July. It's been one of the big movers and shakers. So if you're already long, that's fantastic. I would pull a Fibonacci on our monthly chart to really take a good look at where maybe potential topside targets are. Right there, 50%. That would maybe be one at 30, but I like this area right up here at 35 a little bit better. So I'm watching that one relatively closely. Now, if you wanted to trade this, I think that you have to really abide by the strategy that we just applied to Bitcoin and Ether. You sort of want to be long until proven otherwise, and you'll see this Dogecoin a little bit different market structure than Ethereum, but still the idea would really be the same. You just have a little bit of a pullback bid there, maybe from right around 25. Those are fantastic levels because they coincide with big round numbers. So you've got sort of a 25 area, maybe 25 cents is being a big time support zone. You've got about 3,500, somewhere right in there for Ethereum. Now, one last thing that we would like to check that could be pretty good for us is I want to see this 920 crossover on Dogecoin. So let's go ahead and pull it up and see exactly what we have. Well, there's our crypto break back on about the 9th of July. This one came a little bit later than the Ethereum break, but you can see this is just a freight train north. And now let's go ahead and throw our Fibonacci's on here. Daily time frame. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what we've got. There's your pullback right around 25. And remember, as long as these swing highs are remain valid, the high water mark of the market, then you have an opportunity to get in on these support zones. And I think it's a pretty interesting time to be trading crypto. You can't really argue with anybody that's bought and hold. The hodlers are doing very well, but for us, do we want to buy right now at the top of a market? Probably not. What we want to do is wait for those retracements and get great trade locations. So essentially, that's what we're looking at this week is crypto for our picks of the week. We've got key levels out there for Dogecoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. It's tough to not be bullish towards all of these coins right now, given the news cycle, but we're watching interest rates closely. We're watching Jerome Powell closely, and we're also watching any more legislation that could potentially boost the crypto sphere out of the Trump White House. All right, everybody, those are the picks of the week. Trade the action well. We're going to see you on our live streams all week long, 1 p.m. Eastern. Don't miss them. And we've also got our workshop, our webinar on Wednesday that's going to give us the 920 coded EMA crossover. Be sure to tune in for that. I'll show you how to trade the 920. We'll do it live. All right, that's a wrap. You guys have a fantastic trading week. We'll see you on the next live stream.